Welcome to the WuBlockchain podcast. For the latest blockchain and crypto insights, subscribe to WuBlockchain on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. Stay informed and join the conversation. Today we are joined by Georg Hahn, Delivery and Execution Lead for Bitpanda's Web3 project and the Vision ecosystem. Georg, welcome. Could you please briefly introduce yourself and your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. As you stated, my name is Georg Hahn. I'm the Delivery and Execution Lead here at Bitpanda for the Vision token and the overall Web3 ecosystem. Been in crypto for 5 or 6 years now, I would say. Actually, my journey started early. I have a background in electrical engineering, and during my studies, actually, I've learned the first about blockchain technology and Web3. But I was too young and too unexperienced to actually connect the dots and do anything with that information. So after my studies, I've joined strategy consulting, where I've consulted many TradFi players and banks on digitization topics. Also done some crypto stuff in strategy consulting, and then back in 2020, I think I did my first Bitcoin investment, where I said, okay, this could be an interesting technology. Wasn't smart enough to hold on to it, so I sold it in between, and then I went back in there. This is I would say the typical life cycle that you go through when you're investing in crypto. A few years ago, I've joined Bitpanda initially as a project lead for different crypto and Web3 related topics, until we've decided to really build the Web3 business line here at Bitpanda, and I've stepped into this role where I'm now responsible for actually turning our vision roadmap and the Web3 roadmap into actual working systems and actually deliver products that are more than just commercial fantasies, and bring real utility to our users. So happy to be here.
You began in traditional finance. What inspired the jump into Web3 and Bitpanda?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, traditional finance and especially consulting is a very I would say exciting line of work, because you see a lot of different things. Actually, for me, it was mostly traditional banks in Germany, but also traditional manufacturing players. But the one thing that you don't have in those traditional economies and those traditional industries is the dynamics that you have in crypto. So initially, my first touch point with crypto was Bitcoin, as I said, and there for me, it really was an eye opener that magic internet money has actually the potential to change the world, and especially when you look deeper and you also discover the world of Web3, where you say, okay, those traditional finance processes that I've been working on in consulting and that I've been trying to digitize, they could all be much leaner and much more efficient, and actually work much better if people would adopt Web3 and crypto technology in some places. So that has inspired me to actually follow my passion a bit, I would say. And also, second thing, why Bitpanda is, back then, if you wanted to actually work in crypto and wanted to work out of Austria, which is where I'm based, so I'm based out of Vienna, there only was one name, which is Bitpanda. So Bitpanda is the biggest retail broker in Europe that is also based out of Vienna, so also Austria's biggest startup. And for me, that was, the number one player that I just wanted to go to. So I decided to make the change when the time came right, when the time was right. Actually follow my passion a bit and fully focus on crypto and on the Web3 topic. And I haven't regretted the decision so far. So it's pretty exciting. Every day something new happens.
Mm-hmm. How did the Vision ecosystem first come about, and how would you describe Vision's role within Bitpanda's broader strategy?
Mm-hmm. So actually, that's a very interesting question and a super interesting answer that I have for you. So Vision isn't the first token that Bitpanda has decided to bring out. Actually, one of the reasons why we have such a engaged and a very interested community full of amazing people is that Bitpanda has had a token ecosystem for around about 5 to 6 years before Vision. So on the one hand, we had Pantos, which was a multi-chain protocol, bridge protocol that Bitpanda has decided to build in collaboration with research. And Pantos there was the native token actually of that interoperability protocol. And then on the other side, we had the best token, which was the Bitpanda ecosystem token. That was, Bitpanda's native token, where native loyalty token, where users had, different rewards and benefits that they could have by holding best. But one problem with both of these tokens was that they were pretty hard to understand. The system was pretty complicated. Plus, they were always bound by the boundaries of Bitpanda. So for Pantos, for instance, it was only the Pantos user base, which was very technical, but very engaged, of course. But it was one-to-one correlated with the adoption of the protocol. With Best, it always was bound a bit by the market. So back then, Best was not hosted on any external exchanges. The markets were made by Bitpanda itself. So plus the reward system they had was pretty complicated. So you had a tier system. Not many people understood it, although they benefited from the system, but they didn't understand why in most cases. So what we decided to do is to really unify this token ecosystem of the two token strands, right? Bring them together, merge them together, and by that also merge the communities together, and really build one coherent system that is not bound only to Bitpanda's boundaries, but also has the potential to go beyond Bitpanda. So, and that merge of Best and Pan was the birth of Vision, where we said, okay, we're going to merge those two tokens together, actually build a whole ecosystem around the token, which is now the Bitpanda Web3 ecosystem with multiple products like the wallet, the protocol, the chain, and so on, which we can discuss later a bit if you want to. And then also, onboard external market makers to actually make markets and bring liquidity to the product, list on external exchanges, engage with KOLs like you that are also outside our core market, so not only in Europe, but also in the US, in Asia, in the UAE, and so on, and really make this thing something very big and something that goes beyond the boundaries of Bitpanda. And I would say, how does it fit within Bitpanda's broader strategy? I would say Vision is kind of seen as the connective tissue between the retail business that we have with our brokerage and the new Web3 business line, and really onboarding retail and institutional clients to Web3 and to on-chain applications. And this is really also how we build the product, right? It acts as a bridge between the regulated CeFi world and the DeFi world that you can experience within Web3. So it's rather than a standalone crypto token, it's really the strategic lever of Bitpanda to expand into DeFi, to expand into tokenization and into the Web3 infrastructure, while still really making sure that the high regulation that we have at Bitpanda with our broker product is also translated then into the Web3 world.
Can you walk us through the main pillars of the visual ecosystem? The visual foundation, governance, user participation, and ecosystem partners.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a few pillars that Vision is built upon, right? Let's maybe start with the tokenomics model. So the whole Vision tokenomics model is built upon an economic flywheel that closely correlates with the Web3 ecosystem. So what is the Web3 ecosystem that I talk of? It's a suite of Web3 related products that Bitpanda has built, like for instance our non-custodial wallet, where users can trade, earn, and engage in a very abstracted and user-friendly way. So, for instance, so it's a separate app in addition to our broker product. People can swap into more than 6,000 assets there. People can earn in smart vaults, in on-chain vaults, so earn on stablecoins and so on. And then also the vision of it is that there is also kind of the gateway into Web3 and into decentralized applications. So that's one product. And the second one would be the Vision protocol, where people can actually so it's more of an institutional product, I would say, and the backend product. It's a on-chain meta aggregator that executes and searches for the best swapping routes for our users. So offering cross-chain liquidity, swapping, and aggregation between many DEXs, so people can always have the best execution swap routes. Then we are also building a Vision chain, which is kind of the regulated Ethereum L2 gateway into infrastructure for tokenizing assets, which is very important for our institutional arm that we are trying to onboard to Web3. And then last but not least, there's the Bitpanda Launchpad, where we onboard early stage projects into Web3. And all of those products, a revenue share contributes to the token ecosystem, actually. So if users use the DeFi wallet, if they swap via the Vision protocol, if they tokenize assets and institutions build and on the Vision chain, and if users really use the Launchpad, and if we have a lot of projects there, a revenue share of all of those projects are contributed to the treasury of the Vision token that we have, and that is then used for buybacks and burns. So the more people use products within the Web3 ecosystem, actually, the better the tokenomics, because the more tokens are burned. So this kind of, in the long term, should result in I would say, deflationary mechanism of the token, which guarantees healthy tokenomics. So that's the one point. That's the tokenomics side, I would say. That's one pillar that's super important from intrinsic point of view. I would say then that the second pillar is how do we issue that token? So we have decided not to issue it via Bitpanda, but to actually set up an independent Swiss foundation, the Vision Web3 Foundation, which is an independent institution established to really steer the token and the ecosystem. So the token treasury is held by the Vision Web3 Foundation, and the foundation, which is independent of Bitpanda, decides how to use this treasury. So for promotions, for grants, for partnerships, sports partnerships, and so on. It holds a portion of this Vision supply, and also uses it then for liquidity, staking rewards, paying out grants, promotional activities, brand strategies, and so on. So that's the second pillar. So it's issued by an independent foundation. Then the third one would be the governance model, I would say. So we have multiple levels of governance with the Vision token. One of them is the Web3 committee, where we have which is a committee of independent Web3 experts. So we have a very good mix in there, actually regulatory experts, also from market and business side, from marketing side. We have technical professors in there. And the Web3 committee really is kind of an advisory body for us that we can use as a sparring partner for the ongoing strategy of Vision and the Web3 ecosystem. And then what's also an integral part, I would say, of the Vision token and the tokenomics is on-chain governance. So in futures, Vision holders can, via a on-chain application or via our DeFi wallet, actually vote for on-chain governance parameters, like, for instance, saying how much we should burn of the treasury or how much should be granted to rewards. And then also, on burn schedules, promotional budgets, protocol upgrades, and so on. So I would say those are, the main three pillars. On benefit side, there are multiple benefits that we can talk about. So it always depends on from which direction you come from. For Bitpanda broker users, we offer a range of benefits that are granted if you hold and stake the token on our Bitpanda platform. Like, for instance, staking. So we offer staking APY of up to 10% that users can get. We also offer increased airdrop payouts for our broker users, also fast track to our Club Gold Gold Club program, which is our, I would say, loyalty program for our most valued traders. So you have and then also like one very important benefit, we offer reduced fee benefits, reduced fees when you pay your fees in Vision, you get a 20% discount on our trading platform. For on-chain users, you have different on-chain benefits, like I've already mentioned. So you can also earn the staking APY, of course, of up to 10%. You will have the on-chain governance, which is a pretty neat benefit if you want to actively participate in the ecosystem and shape the ecosystem, actually. And then, of course, you also have different benefits within our Web3 suite. So in the wallet, you will also have increased staking payouts, you will have increased airdrop payouts, and so on. So it's a pretty dynamic and vast ecosystem that we're trying to build here, with multiple benefits for the users, and really focusing on bringing real utility to the world of Web3 with the medium of Vision.
So if we compare the Vision token to other ecosystem tokens, which model or design philosophy feels most fitting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm actually not the biggest fan of directly comparing to competitors, but if I would have to, I would say it's a mix between BGB, so BitGets token, and Binance, so BNB. Why BGB? Because we offer a range of benefits within the Bitpanda ecosystem, as I've just mentioned, right? So with the reduced staking, with the reduced trading fees, the staking benefits, the increased airdrop payouts, and so on. So this really reminds me of BGB. On the other hand, we're trying to build an infrastructure that really onboards the next generation of users into the world of tokenization and real-world assets. So this infrastructure part kind of reminds me of BNB a bit. But we're trying in general, we're trying to build our own thing. So Bitpanda has always been historically very good at that we really look at what our users want, specifically our user base in Europe, right? Since we are market leader there, and we get great feedback from our community as well. So this is really our goal, to build a real infrastructure, be an infrastructure provider, especially also then with the Vision chain, which actually aims to onboard institutional clients to the ecosystem, where Bitpanda is also very strong on that side. So I don't know how much you know about Bitpanda, but we have just released an announcement that we have a very close collaboration with Société Générale, which is one of the biggest retail banks in Europe, to partner with their stablecoin ecosystem. So we've already integrated the stablecoins in our DeFi wallet. We've also implemented the use case for our margin trading product on the Bitpanda platform. So we have very strong ties into the TradFi sector, also with Raiffeisen on our side, which is also one of the biggest retail banks in Europe. In the UAE, we're partnering with Rak Bank, also on a stablecoin project. So we are really trying to use those ties into traditional finance and into the banking sector that we have made with all of our other products, and trying to bring them into Web3. And specifically the Vision chain, and then also the Vision token as you know, kind of the fuel of that ecosystem, should help with achieving that goal.
Yeah, Bitpanda has announced an expanded partnership with SG Forge. And how will this integration bridge traditional finance and DeFi under the MiCA framework?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say it has already started, right? As I said, we have different use cases already in place with them. Where we say, okay, we have integrated their stablecoin into our DeFi wallet, where we can also offer our users yield-bearing assets, right? Also under MiCA, which is pretty harshly regulated, but we still made it possible. And then also, implementing the use cases of their stablecoin as within our margin trading product. Of course, those collaborations are easier if you don't have regulation. But we are a big fan of really doing everything the right way. That's why in general, I think MiCA can actually be a very big benefit if you see it as a opportunity rather than, a hindrance. Because especially like for our retail users, this regulation really levels the playing field and makes sure that only right actors are integrated into the Web3 space. So I really welcome this, and so does SG Forge. So this is a very it's a very exciting partnership, and we want to do it right. And of course, it would be easier without regulation, but we want to do things really right and actually bring value to users in a regulated, safe, and secure way.
What's the strategic goal behind bringing SG Forge's stablecoins directly on chain?
So the strategic goal is actually to increase reach, right? So right now we're building our Vision chain and the Vision ecosystem, and SG Forge has built their own infrastructure framework, right, for their stablecoin. So right now the integration looks more like that we integrate their stablecoin into our products. However, this collaboration in the future might look like we have to work out together, and that's why this of course we've kicked off the partnership with SG Forge I think a year ago, also in Barcelona and at the Blockchain Week, and this year we've announced that we will deepen it with them and also go a bit more into the DeFi space with them, and it's more so as a strategic goal. I think it's a nice synergy between the two of us. So SG Forge really into the TradFi sector, also with their retail clients that are very traditional and very very keen on actually getting into crypto. And Bitpanda being able to offer not only infrastructure that helps them onboard into Web3, but also doing it in a very secure, safe, and regulated manner. So I think this is a very nice synergy between the two companies, and strategically super valuable for not only us and SG Forge, but also for European retail users that can really benefit from products that come out of that partnership.
And how do you balance compliance while exploring tokenized assets and on-chain yield?
Yeah. So as you might know, in the Web3 sector, it was the Wild West, right? A few years ago, it was really difficult actually as a regulated player because most of the players internationally, they just were moving quicker and faster because they didn't have any regulation. And of course, that's still a problem if you want to do it right, because there's always some players that are just outpacing you in the Web3 space. But the thing that we've noticed is that since MiCA, and also like especially in the European market, right, which is always the spearhead of regulate first and then build later. So not like I would say the Asian market and the US markets that build first, innovate first, and then regulate later. Maybe it's for the users. Actually, it's really leveling the playing field. So when you look at it from a user lens, then the very traditional European user that is mostly doesn't even know how stock trading works. Most of them just have their money lying around somewhere or have it in gold. So very, very traditional. They don't really want to invest into Web3 because they think it's a scam, right? And their regulation really helps bringing trust into that sector and actually onboarding those retail and those traditional users to Web3 and to crypto in general. So I would say it's a very nice balance that we have right now, where we say, okay, with some products that aren't really clearly defined in regulation yet, we can actually innovate a bit and actually also keep up to pace with international customers, right? But with the main part the mainstream of Web3, I would say we earn the trust of our retail customers, where they say, okay, we take the pledge of Bitpanda that the regulation and The safety is 100% there. There is nothing shady going on. Everything is 100% MiCA compliant. We have we're the most regulated player actually in Europe, and people just really like the trust and safety that they can expect from us, and that really helps us also with building first of all in Web3, because projects really work together. They like to work together with us because they know they get a really new inflow of customers that they didn't have access to before. But also from user side, we get very positive feedback that they also appreciate that actually the trust and the security that we can offer them.
How do you see the role of European exchanges evolving as they expand to Web3?
Sorry, I didn't get that. The connection was gone quickly.
Okay. Bitpanda is one of Europe's largest regulated exchanges. How do you see the role of European exchanges evolving as they expand to Web3?
Yeah. So I would say it's definitely, so traditional exchanges are definitely moving into the world of Web3 and becoming a one-stop solution for everything, right? I love to compare it with a recent trend that has been going on with investment platforms so traditional investment platforms in Europe, like for instance, Trade Republic and Scalable Capital. There you could clearly see that with increased regulation, the landscape becomes more unified and players like to integrate more horizontally. That means they like to consolidate. So less and less players are actually playing for the same cup and for the same pot, but also integrate vertically. So Trade Republic, for instance, has started off as a investment platform for just stocks. And now they're moving more and more towards becoming a neobank like Revolut, for instance. So this one-stop shop for everything. I think with crypto exchanges, and then for us, for broker as well, I think that the move is imminent that they integrate both horizontally. So I think there will be a consolidation of landscapes, especially in the European market, since it's very closely regulated, but also vertically, so that they not only offer trading for retail beginners and then for advanced pro trading for advanced users, but then also they will integrate more towards becoming an infrastructure provider, like the move from that L1s have made, like Ethereum and so on. So in the beginning, they used to cater to retail users only, but now they've shifted towards becoming a B2B business almost, where they say, okay, I am the infrastructure provider for this whole sector, for this market, and people build on top of me. And I think that's also the same move that we will see with those crypto exchanges. And also for us, it's a topic where we say, okay, we integrate vertically, become more of an infrastructure player, supported by the regulation that the EU has brought up. And actually let people build on our infrastructure. I mean, that's what you see very clearly with Binance, right? And their Binance Smart Chain, also with Coinbase and Base, Kraken and Link, Bitpanda and the Vision Chain. So this is a very, very clear movement that we see in the market. But I also think it's a very bullish movement for Bitpanda in general and for the Vision token in general, since we are very anchored in the European market. We have the USP that we have all of those TradFi connections. So actually we can bring the people that want to build on the chain on our Vision chain and using the Vision token as utility. That we have a real stronghold on the European
What's your view
market, and that's why I'm also very, very future.
Mm-hmm. So what's your view on competition versus collaboration among European platforms moving forward toward tokenized finance and Web3 integration?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, we are 100% pro collaboration. I would say, there are always some things that a healthy competition will be available. Like, for instance, especially in the European market, right? We all have to fight for the user base, and exchanges have to fight for liquidity, which we don't have to do because we're a broker, right? And we actually source liquidity from exchanges. But yeah, there will always be some competition fronts, I would say. But yeah, we are very I would say confident in our stronghold on the European market, and I think we can gladly say that we're the market leader here, and that won't change anytime soon. But in general, we're very open to collaboration, especially on the infrastructure side, right? So when we talk about shared compliance infrastructure, when we talk about interoperability platforms and cross-platform bridges, also like integrating other ecosystems within the Web3 product suite, then we're very open to that. And we're really trying to build value and utility for the users and have the users in mind. And that is more important to us than competing against everyone, because we really want to build something that is lasting and then brings value to the user. And yeah, as I said, there will always be some areas for competition as well, but we're very confident that we have a good standpoint on most of them.
Mm-hmm. You are operating under MiCA, Europe's most comprehensive crypto regulation. Do you think this gives Europe a true competitive advantage in Web3?
Yeah, 100%. So as I've mentioned, I believe MiCA is one of the rare occasions where Europe really has the opportunity to shine in a sector. Because the regulation really brings a clear and level playing field for all of us, right? Mm-hmm. Especially for Bitpanda, who have always, like, since their inception, they have really put a focus on regulation, safety, and security, doing things right. For us, we have internalized it. So for us, it's a clear advantage because users know what they get, and actually European users really like regulated players. If you see it on the other side as a constraint, then you're going to have a hard time in Europe, probably. And that's also, I think, what a lot of competition is seeing at the moment. So, I mean, most of the big players are actually entering the European markets now. And I think they, have a hard time accepting the reality that regulation is, if you don't internalize it and if you don't live it and you don't want to do things right, then you're going to have a hard time in Europe. But yeah, I absolutely see it as a competitive advantage, especially for us as a regulated player. You have great clarity on what you can do and what you can't do. So that means lower uncertainty, and as you know, markets really hate uncertainty. You have this real wave of trust and legitimacy, not only on user side, but also like on who you work together with in the Web3 space, since it can be very Wild West at some points, and there are some ill-minded and ill-intended players still there. But I think you have long-term, the most important thing is that you have long-term sustainability over speculation on the market. That means users know what they get, and they really appreciate it, especially in Europe.
Mm-hmm. As the visual ecosystem expands globally, what's your perspective on Asia's Web3 market?
So for me, and I can tell you my experience firsthand that I've made. So this year I've been to Consensus Hong Kong, to the Korean Blockchain Week. I've been to Singapore to Token 2049, and I'm ultra bullish on the Asian market, to be honest. So everything to the key opinion leaders that I've talked to the partners and other exchanges and so on. The Asian market is super exciting. There's a lot of innovation going on. It's super fragmented, of course. So this whole blanket strategy that's like you can partially do in Europe, right? That you say, okay, you have one product and sell that in every country. That doesn't work. In Asia, you have to be really individualized and then really have to adapt your strategy for each country that you're in. So, for instance, mainland China is completely different to Singapore or to Korea, which is one of the craziest crypto markets that I've ever seen. For me, the Asian crypto market is super, super bullish. And actually, what we're trying to do with Vision is also enter those markets. So we've just announced our listing on Probit, which is opening the doors to the Korean market, which is, as I've told you, it's one of the craziest markets that I've ever seen. We're trying to continue our efforts to really engage with Asia to really get a foothold there, get the word out that, Asian customers can really, on the one hand, participate in Bitpanda's success as a retail broker, but also participate in the onboarding of the next generation of on-chain users to Web3 in Europe, which is a very exciting opportunity and also is a huge market. I love Asia.
So do you think Europe's Web3 identity will differ from the US and Asia, perhaps being more compliance-driven, but also more sustainable long-term?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I've already told you, it's so in general and historically, Europe always has this compliance and regulatory first mindset before innovation. In Asia and in the US also, it's always innovate first. Try to get something out, and then after care about the regulation, if any ever comes, right? And as I said, I think for me, this is a long-term and sustainable advantage because you take off the edges a bit, right? I mean, you have a bit of a safety net. You can, like in Asia and in the US, you can go up very, very tall because you don't have any regulation, but you also don't have a safety net towards the bottom. That means if there are any ill-intended players, if there's something fishy going on, then it falls without any remorse, right? And you don't really have that in the European market, which makes it by definition a bit more sustainable and a bit more calmer and smoother. So I think there's a use case for both markets or for all three markets, right? So different kinds of investors will always adapt to their risk profile, whether it be institutional or retail. I think the regulation and also going forward in the future, this regulated landscape in the EU can really be an advantage for the entire sector.
How do you see the next evolution of exchanges? Will they become hybrid platforms that combine CeFi, DeFi, and tokenized real-world assets?
Yeah, 100%. So they will, as I've already told you, they will have this vertical integration, right? So I believe they will become true hybrid platforms where they, on the one hand, have of course this whole trading thing, and then for retail and advanced users where people can trade crypto, like this traditional exchange business. But then I think, in future, and this is already what we're seeing, they will really become a sort of the infrastructure platforms that people and institutions build on to actually bring value onto the world of Web3. And that's also what we're trying to do with our Web3 ecosystem. So with the wallet, we're trying to onboard retail users from actually traditional retail users from Web2 into Web3. With our chain, we're trying to onboard mainly institutional clients in Europe mainly to actually enter the world of Web3, and everything always with as much abstraction as possible. So a Web2 user should be able to use Web3 without being an expert in Web3 because it's a super complicated topic. And that's also our goal, to really become this infrastructure platform that institutions and retail institutions worldwide can use to really bring also their users into Web3, with vision, of course, in the middle of it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Sorry, once again.
Anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
No, I think we've touched upon the most important points. I'm super excited that we're finally getting a foothold and then in Asia and then in the Asian market. I think it's super exciting with what we're doing with Vision, I'm also super excited for the future because I really think from the bottom of my heart that we're building something sustainable here, that we're building something exciting for our users here that brings real utility to the world of Web3, which is also a super dynamic sector. It's not very well understood yet, but we're also working actively on that to educate users and so that they actually understand Web3 and they know the values and the benefits that this sector can bring. So I'm super excited for the future and for Vision and the Web3 ecosystem and what it brings.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.